Howdy Do, Lazaretto by Jack White off of an album called Lazaretto. This is a great song. I remember when this song came out. It caught my attention, probably yours. So let's get started. Pretty easy, actually. The main riff has, we'll call, 3 sections to it. And section 1 and section 3 are identical. And it is as simple as this. So that's section 1. So you're going to go 2nd fret of the E string, 4th fret of the D string, 2nd fret of the D string. So those notes are F sharp, E. Just to know that, okay? So 2nd fret of the E, 4th of the D, 2nd of the D. And again, that's the 1st section and the 3rd section. So it starts with that. Now the 2nd section is this. Very similar notes. We're just really adding 2 different notes, and that is going to be the low E string, open, and you're going to hammer onto the 2nd fret. We've already been there, of the E string. That's an F sharp. Go back to those 2 frets on the D string, the 4 and the 2. And then you're going to hit the 4th fret of the A string. Back to the open E string. So section 2 is this. Pretty easy. So section 1, section 2, section 3. Okay, and you string that all together and you've got Lazaretto. So you could have a little bit of a traffic jam with your fingers there trying to do those notes as quickly as the song does. Just practice slower and work up to the speed. By the way, I've got my amp just set on dirty, which I'll probably turn down a little bit now that we're into the game here. And I also have my Pog on, which is a nice little pedal that adds, boy, quite a bit of flexibility. It's similar to a whammy pedal. It just doesn't have the pedal that actuates it up and down. It's either on or off. But what's nice about it is you can adjust your dry signal, the volume. Each of those white knobs there are the dry signal. So that's just what your guitar sounds like. You can turn the volume up or down on that. The middle one is the sub octave. So I've just, as you can see there, I've got it, I guess 3 if you counted that from 1 to 10. It's not up too loud, and then the up octave I've got completely off. So what that does is just adds a nice flavor to it. Of course, I turned my dirty off, so it sounds a little cleaner right now. Here it is without this. So not a huge difference, but it does add a little bit of beef to the note, which of course that song starts with a bass and then the electric guitar comes in after he starts singing. So you can layer the song however you want to. That's always been my motto. Just kind of figure out how you can play it with you and your buddy or however many guys you got in the band. If you've got a bass player and a keyboardist and all that, hey, you're set. You're ready to go. But if it's just you and 1 or 2 other people, improvise. Make the song sound a little fatter than otherwise. You can do that with pedals or just turn up your gain or volume, whatever you want to do. Just make it come to life. That's the point of music. So after that, it goes to an A chord. I play it on the 5th fret of the E string and the 7th fret of the A and D string. And then you go down 1 fret to an A flat or a G sharp, whatever you want to call that. It's the 4th fret of the E string. And then he's going to toggle back and forth from the 4th fret on the A string. So 4th to 5th fret. Just hit it once and then let your middle finger there do all the work. And it goes back to that F sharp, the 2nd fret of the E string. That is the whole song except for the solo, and the ending has a different riff. Let's do that last riff there. So after the solo, it goes to a little bit of a break. And then I guess we'll call this the bridge. I'm not sure, but it sounds something like this. I'll turn my Pog back on. Okay, so that's similar notes we were playing before. We're going to start with an open E string. We are adding one fret that's new, and that's the first fret of the E string. So we're walking up to that F sharp. So 0, 1, 2 are the frets there. Open again, and then back to the second. D string, 4th fret, 2nd fret. We've been there before. 4th fret of the A string, we've been there. Open E string. So that's kind of run 1. And then run 2 is the same as part 2 in the opening. So that's open E string, 2nd fret of the E string, 4th, 2nd on the D string, 4th on the A string, back to open on the E string. So that is just beautifully funky music, isn't it? So kind of reminds me of an old 70s song like Play That Funky Music or something. White Boy, that is. Okay, now the only thing left, I do believe, is the guitar solo. Alright, so that's the solo. I'll break it down a little bit, and I don't claim to have this exact. It's just pretty close, and it certainly works over the top of somebody else playing. And by the way, during the solo is the same riff. That same riff is underneath the solo. And so if you've got somebody to do that, you can play this solo. So it starts up on the 17th fret of the E string. Bend it way up. And you're going to pull off to the 14th fret of the E string. And then hammer on right away to the 17th of the B string. And then you're going to hit the 15 again on the E string, 14 on the E string, and hammer right back on to that 17 of the B string. Go back to the 14 and then hammer on to the 17 of the E string. B, 14E several times. Bend the 17 of the B. Resolve on the 16 of the G, and I think you bend that. Let me do it again. Yeah, so you hit that B string 17 one more time before you go to the 16 G, and lazily bend that up and then back down. So that's kind of phase 1 of the guitar solo. Go back to the B string 17 and then the 17 of the E, back to 17 of the B. And then you're going to pull off on the B right away to the 14 of the B. And then you're going to hammer on to the 16 of the G. (14 to 17) on the B again. 14B to 16G twice, and I'm just hammering on to that G string, and then 16 of the G to 15 of the G, and give it some vibrato, and then you're going to toggle up to the 16 a couple of times. So that second part is well, I have to start from the beginning. Okay, and then now we start back over at the 17 of the E. So bend that up. Kind of similar to the starting of the first section. Pull off and then hammer on to the 17 of the B. And then you go back to the 14 on the E up to the 17E. Bend the 17 on the E. .14 of the E to the 17 on the B, back to the 14 on the E, up to the 17E. I'll play it slow. And then the ending is, this may not be exactly right, but certainly close enough for rock and roll, and that is just 17 to 19 on the B string. So I'm just going back and forth. Bend up the 17, resolve it on the 15 of the B string. I think that's the whole solo. And like I say, you know, it's close enough. You turn on a fuzz pedal and crank up the volume loud enough, and if somebody has a problem with that guitar solo, if you can play it like that, well then give them my email and tell them to give me a shout out. We'll get it straightened out. That's it, Lazaretto. It's a great song. Lots of layers in there, so don't expect to sound exactly like the studio unless you've got about 8 people playing instruments. Otherwise, grab a guitar, put somebody on drums, maybe a bass, or somebody else playing a guitar. I think you can play this, have fun, and impress somebody. And hopefully they don't send you to a Lazaretto. Over and out. From my easy chair.